Hello from Augustana College. Thank you for joining us for a few minutes this evening, and welcome to a very special space inside Carlson Ewald Hall, which we call the Great Hall. It's on the first floor, just inside the entrance. This beautiful and comfortable space has become a hub for students since the building was renovated in 2008. Many of you know Carlson Hall as a residence hall. I'm Kent Barnds, Executive Vice President for External Relations, and I will serve as your host for this live broadcast. In the interest of social distancing, President Steve Bahls and Provost Wendy Hilton-Morrow will join us virtually tonight. Throughout this discussion, I invite you to use the chat function to ask any questions or share any comments that you have. Many of you found this function already. I plan to make some time at the conclusion of the presentation to answer as many questions as possible. It's been 26 days since in-person classes were held in this building or any place on campus. But since then, Augustana has offered 8 days of distance learning so far, and just today, 1,914 students received real-time instruction from 287 of our very talented faculty through distance learning. It's easy to think about the COVID-19 outbreak around the globe and focus on all the things that have changed or have gotten worse. But for the next 30 minutes or so, I'd like to talk about Augustana's values and mission and how we are working to ensure the best parts of the Augustana experience continue. For starters, our focus on students remains the same. We are steadfast in maintaining a student-centered environment. And before we go too far, I'd like to take a few minutes to have you hear from alumna and Provost Dr. Wendy Hilton-Morrow about distance learning and how our faculty have moved mountains to ensure that students have the same high-impact learning experiences and the same level of academic rigor through the end of this semester through distance learning.
Good evening. I have the privilege of working with our faculty as they do what they do best, helping our students to learn, to grow, and to thrive. In the span of 2 short weeks, more than 200 faculty shifted their courses to distance learning. Along the way, they've learned about effective online pedagogy, new technologies, and ways to foster and sustain a community in a virtual environment. They have done so demonstrating the very values of the liberal arts that they teach our students. That includes having a breadth of perspective that allows us to address unexpected challenges in unexpected ways, the inclination to see life through the eyes of others, and the impulse to transcend our individual needs. Allow me to give you just a small sample of what's been happening here at Augustana. The learning outcomes have not changed, but the teaching methods have. For instance, in chemistry, Dr. Amanda Wilmsmeyer and Professor Chad Yoon video recorded lab experiments so that their students could follow along at home. Dr. Lendell Calder in history sent his students a video recording in which he challenged them to apply what they've learned about the importance of storytelling to make sense of this historic moment in which they're living. And many of our music faculty are continuing one-on-one music lessons with students thanks to technology like Google Meets. But our faculty are doing more than that. We have faculty who are helping us track down all of our international students who are now scattered around the globe so that we know where they are, how they're doing, and what they might need. Dr. Trang Phan, for instance, in business, has stayed in close contact with 35 of our students from Vietnam, despite the disruptions that they faced. Dr. Mariano Magalhães in political science is sending his students Mug of the Day videos in which he shares the stories behind each of the mugs in his collection that fills his office. It's a way for him to maintain a personal connection with his students, even though they're away from campus. And that's what hasn't changed here at Augustana. The deep care, concern, and connection that our faculty have for our students. In fact, Augustana has a call team doing individual phone calls to every one of our students just to check in and see how they're doing. Through these calls, we've learned that many of our students are doing just fine. They have all the technology and family support that they need, and they're worrying about things college students should worry about, like how their plants they left behind in their residence halls are doing. In other cases, though, students have broken down into tears sharing their deep anxiety and their sadness for this new world in which they're living. They're so grateful to have someone just call and check in to see how they're doing. In many ways, Augustana has changed temporarily. The campus is empty and learning is now happening at a distance. But really, it's in the most important ways we haven't changed at all. We remain committed to our mission of preparing students for a life of leadership and service in a diverse and changing world. And we're doing so in ways that highlight care, compassion, and connection. That part of Augustana will never change.
Thank you, Wendy. As we think about the care and compassion for our current students, you might like to know what the college has done to support students and families. The administration made the decision early on to provide housing and meal plan refunds for the balance of the semester. In addition, to ensure that students can continue with their education, the college has provided assistance with technology to ensure access to computers and the internet to make sure that all students have the access they need wherever they are to continue this semester. As a community, we are humbled and grateful for people still working on our physical campus. A limited number of employees have continued to work in public safety to keep our students safe, in dining services, and in facilities, as well as residential life. In fact, they are looking out for nearly 170 students who are still living on campus. Many of these students are international students who are unable to return to their home country. We are further humbled by our grads who are making a difference on the front lines, in hospitals, labs, clinics, and classrooms. We encourage all of you to continue to watch our website and social media challenges for stories about people like Dr. Emily Landon, a 1999 graduate who serves as Chief Infectious Disease Epidemiologist at the University of Chicago School of Medicine. Dr. Landon has advised the Mayor of Chicago and the Governor of Illinois on the stay-at-home order, as well as other COVID-related policies. As a tagline for the Augustana Now campaign, we've been saying the world needs Augustana graduates. At this moment, that statement seems more true than ever before. Another very important group of people we can't forget about at this moment is all of the many prospective students. If choosing a college isn't already tremendously difficult for 17 and 18-year-olds, imagine the stress that COVID-19 has added for prospective students. The Office of Admissions has made a number of adjustments, including providing an extension to our enrollment decision deadline, extending a campus visit grant for those students who've not been yet able to visit Augustana, and we've also added a myriad of virtual visit opportunities that students are taking advantage of as they make their final decision. For our current students and students yet to come, we are staying the course on important areas of growth as well. In fact, construction planning continues on a new building to advance learning around public health and wellness and student well-being, as well as growth in our athletic offerings. New varsity athletic programs are being added as planned, and in the last week, prospective students and current students learned about the addition of men's and women's water polo, as well as women's wrestling. Kinesiology, as a major area of study, is gaining momentum and the interest of prospective students. And the college's data analytics program is another area of significant growth. One symbol of strength and growth at Augustana today is the construction that's taking place along 7th Avenue. I could tell you much about the Peter J. Lindbergh, MD Center for Health and Human Performance, but it's probably more efficient and more enjoyable to cut right to a recent video describing the project and its impact on the college.
It is so exciting to be part of a new home on campus.
It's exciting to think about that I'm the start of something that could be so much bigger than myself.
This new building is going to be a bridge between so many areas of campus.
The idea that we are bringing physical parts of campus together for a shared vision and to directly benefit our students is extremely exciting.
The Peter J. Lindbergh, MD Center for Health and Human Performance at Augustana is an exciting project for us because it allows us to combine two great strengths at Augustana, both our academic program as well as our athletic program. This project is made possible because of a generous donation from the Knowlton Foundation to honor one of our alumni, Dr. Peter Lindbergh. Dr. Lindbergh was an oncologist who dedicated his life to improving the lives of his patients.
Kinesiology is a study of human performance and physical activity. So I'm really excited about the fact that we're going to have these two kinesiology labs as part of it. One of the labs is a more practical applied lab so that students can learn how to deal with clinical populations or the average everyday person, whereas the other lab is going to be looking a little bit more at athletic populations and human performance.
The exciting part for me is that this building will allow for the kinesiology program to be connected to and brought together with already existing programs such as public health.
The Lindbergh Center really builds on our strong tradition in the health sciences here at Augustana. For instance, our students are accepted into medical school at a rate that's 50% above the national average. And so this allows us to continue to build on traditions that we already have and strengthen them even further.
The public health program at Augustana is about to graduate our 4th cohort of seniors. So we have over 50 majors currently in the program, and our seniors are going all over the country and the world. New spaces like this are going to be so impactful for our students because we exclusively do hands-on learning. So whether it's students are identifying problems in the classroom or taking one of those solutions out into the community, having collaborative spaces is going to allow us to address those needs more efficiently.
The location of the new Lindbergh Center right at the center of campus is really important because it is both a physical as well as a symbolic intersection between the work that our students do in the classroom and the great learning that happens outside of the classroom, including in our many athletic programs like our wonderful swimming and diving teams.
Our program talks a lot about a commitment to excellence, and our commitment to excellence starts in the classroom. Our #1 team goal as a team is to become academic All-American. And combining a pool and classrooms, it shows Augustana's commitment to student athletes as a whole.
It'll be a huge change because we for all of our meets go away to other places except for one. We have only one home meet, and now we're thinking about doing invitationals, various home meets. It allows us to do more than we could have ever done before.
The facility will be state-of-the-art. It has 10 lanes, more lanes to spread out in training. A unique feature in our facility will be a swim performance lab, which contains a SwimX system that allows us to do stroke evaluation and technique on our swimmers. This building is a true commitment to excellence, and that's what Augustana stands for, and our program stands for both in and out of the pool.
Having one central location where we can be together, we can learn, solve problems for the community.
It really shows students how interconnected so many aspects of their lives are.
This new center allows us to further strengthen programs here at Augustana that prepare our students to be the leaders in health and human performance that our world needs.
Was I right? It's a great video, and this new project, which strengthens existing programs and expands opportunity for Augustana students, provides us all with great hope about the future for Augustana College. I want to once again invite you to consider sending any questions that you might have for our question and answer through the chat function on the YouTube page. Our student-centered approach that I mentioned previously brings clarity to our admission. It is especially right now in these times of need. Here are a handful of examples of what we're doing to remain student-centered. Student counseling introduced new virtual and confidential mental health services that are available to students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Director of Counseling Services Bill Ivaroni thinks that once the pandemic has passed, these virtual efforts can help us expand and help students even further. Campus recreation and intramurals are continuing with virtual exercise classes, a national college trivia night, and many more activities to come to keep our students engaged. The librarians at the Thomas Treadway Library are available for research and resource help and have provided a distance learning guide to serve our current students. Career development staff members in CORE are hosting virtual drop-in sessions, and students needing career-related advice can meet with a career coach for a Zoom conversation to help them choose their pathway after Augustana. Student drop-in tutoring and faculty tutoring appointments are available in the virtual Reading and Writing Center as we continue to serve our students. And of course, our campus chaplain, Pastor Richard Prigge, hosted the first virtual Wednesday night chapel service last week, with another one scheduled for later tonight, which we hope you'll participate in. Every Wednesday, as always, our students can take a few minutes after a hectic day for inspiring music and spiritual reflection. As I mentioned earlier, our focus is driven by our desire to serve each student. We feel especially for those seniors who hadn't planned to finish their senior year quite like this at Augustana College. In their honor, we've given considerable thought to making the beloved tradition of the last lecture and senior toast something that will go on virtually in which they can participate. We're examining ways that we can continue to confer degrees on a timely basis to enable students to get on with their careers. And we also are imagining what an in-person graduation event will look like. All of these plans are being discussed as we think about how to celebrate the class of 2020 in the way that they deserve. At this point, I'd like to turn things over to President Steve Bahls, who wanted to share an update and his gratitude for all that's happening at Augustana.
I'm here at the Dahl President's Home today to send a special message to you. I'm so proud of this Augustana College community. Our faculty, in a 2-week period, converted all courses to distance learning courses, and the reviews that we've had from students are very, very strong. But it's beyond the faculty also. It is the entire Augustana community that is mobilized to provide a virtual experience for our students that's not quite as good as the live experience, but accomplishes our goals of helping our students finish their term. We're offering career services, we're offering student counseling, we're offering advising. Greek life continues, student organizations continues. This organization has mobilized to meet the needs of our students today. But I'm also so proud of our graduates of Augustana College. Thank you for the financial support over the years that has kept Augustana strong so that we have the strength to mobilize this community in a very short time period. And I know many of you are mobilized within your community. Many of our leaders in the state of Illinois are Augustana College graduates in the public health field, as physicians, as teachers. Many of you are caring for family members. Many of you are trying to keep life as normal as you can for everyone around you. So on behalf of Augustana College, thank you. The world needs Augustana College graduates, particularly at a time like this. May we continue through difficult times to help our students grow in mind, body, and spirit.
Thank you, Steve. Steve mentioned the way graduates of Augustana have contributed to keeping the institution strong, and that leads me to some very good news. Next Monday, Augustana will broadly roll out a plan to engage all Augustana alumni in 2 important efforts to support our students. First, we want to invite alumni and donors to show personal care and support for individual students through a letter writing campaign. At this time of crisis when so many students could benefit from personal encouragement, we plan to facilitate a process that gives alumni the chance to show that encouragement through a handwritten personal note. With 2,538 students, we'll be looking for about 500 alumni who might be willing to write 5 letters before the end of April to Augustana students to provide encouragement. Finally, and very gratefully, we have wonderful news about a matching gift opportunity. Alumnus Murray Gerber and his wife Cindy Gerber will match every new unrestricted dollar of support to Augustana College up to $1 million. This means that your gift of $1 plus the Gerber's gift becomes $2 of support for Augustana students and college operations in this unprecedented time of need. When the Gerber's challenge is met, a total of $2 million will allow the college to quickly meet the challenges the crisis has faced the college with. Augustana College needs to remain strong and focused on its future and its strategic agenda and preparing students to lead. And the Gerber Challenge will allow us to do that. We ask any of those of you who might be able to and willing to support the Gerber Challenge to make a commitment by June 30th, 2020. But we also recognize the current instability in the stock market, and we are inviting payments to be completed by September 1st of 2020. If you're inclined to support the Gerber Challenge, you may do that online, but I'm also happy to speak with you personally about any commitment that you might choose to make. You can contact me directly at 309-230-7743 or email me at wkentbarnds@augustana.edu. Before I move to the question and answer, I want to conclude the formal part of my comments by saying that it's been inspiring to witness the Augustana College community come together on behalf of our students and in service of the greater good. We will continue to work together to help address this global crisis. We speak often of Augustana's drive to make a difference in the world. This drive has rarely been more relevant than it is today. At this time, I'd like to invite questions. I'm going to review the questions that have been submitted and do my best to try to answer them. So if you'll give me just a moment, I want to turn my attention to my computer screen and I'll take the questions that have been submitted. One of the questions that was submitted was a question regarding the status of Peter J. Lindbergh, who is the namesake for the Peter J. Lindbergh MD Center for Health and Human Performance. Peter Lindbergh, of course, is a graduate of Augustana who went on to the University of Chicago Medical School and served his entire career as an oncologist up to his death in 2016. We're very grateful for the Austin E. Knowlton Foundation, which provided a lead gift in support of the Peter J. Lindbergh Center for Health and Human Performance. Two of the trustees of the Austin E. Knowlton Foundation are nephews of Dr. Lindbergh, and they wanted, along with the other trustees of the Knowlton Foundation, to share Dr. Lindbergh's story and his fidelity to both Augustana College and serving the world in the areas of health and, of course, as an oncologist. So, regrettably, Dr. Lindbergh died in 2016, but we are delighted to be able to share the story of a great Augustana graduate by honoring him by naming this new building, which we hope to open about a year from right now. Another question that was asked is, how is the admissions office engaging high school students at this particular time? What are we doing to reach out to high school students? And I'd share a couple of reflections. First and foremost, through a variety of different virtual experiences that range from one-on-one conversations between a prospective student and a member of the admissions staff, or a full family unit. We do these through video chats and video calls in order to continue to provide personal attention. Over the last few Fridays, we've launched a great virtual event called On to Augie, or Augie Bound, where students who've already made their admissions decision get together online through a Zoom meeting and start to get to know each other better. So we're trying to create those bonds right now. And we're very excited about an initiative which will launch next week, through which all of our academic programs will be offering online information sessions and discussion boards for prospective students. We want to do everything that we can to continue to provide the personal attention that students would be receiving if they were coming to our campus to make a deciding visit. And one of the really interesting things, which I know all of you will appreciate, that we just started to talk about today, was the idea of sharing some of the favorite recipes from the Gerber Center Dining Hall with our prospective students with pictures of that great food. Since we all know the quality of pizza oftentimes can make or break a college decision, we want to make sure that prospective students understand what a great place Augustana is for that. There were a couple of other questions that came in, and I want to just take a look at those. There's an observation about an initiative associated with the Alumni Board at Augustana, and that's an initiative called Vikings Connections, where we're inviting alums to serve as mentors to current students in a variety of different career fields. And Kelly Nowak, our Director of Alumni Relations, can provide greater information about Viking Connections. I think right now, given the pandemic and the disruption to some students, both internship plans as well as career plans, a program like Viking Connections is more important than ever before, and so many of the Augustana faithful alums can serve in a very meaningful way as a Viking connection. There's also a question about what is the status of internships, and I just want to mention that right now internships are really in sort of a state of disruption, in part because of social distancing and physical distancing. The great professionals in core and career development are doing everything they can to try to serve our students and ensure that they have that experiential component of their education at Augustana, but I'm sure you can appreciate the difficulty that we are experiencing in trying to ensure placement in internships. Looking through my list here, glad to see there are a couple of observations about the letter writing campaign, and that many of you are looking forward to that. I encourage you to pay attention to your email on Monday as we launch both the letter writing campaign opportunity and the Gerber Challenge. I'm looking here. There is a question from, I believe, a current student as to whether or not our students who remain on campus are moving into one single building. To my knowledge, we have not made that decision as of yet, in part because of our desire to maintain the physical distancing that is recommended. I do know that the Office of Residence Life is making recommendations about which washrooms students use on particular halls and at what time in order to preserve physical distancing as well. There was a question about the Bergendorf renovations, and what I can say about Bergendorf is that we had plans to begin phase 1 of the Bergendorf renovation this summer. At this particular time, we have put much of our future planning on hold until we can assess the financial condition of the college after extending refunds for room and board. So all I can say about Bergendorf is that you'll have to stay tuned as we sort out a number of questions that we face as an institution. I want to look and just make sure that I've gotten through most of the questions that everyone had asked. Your questions were excellent and your observations, and more importantly, everybody checking in from so many places. I've seen check-ins from Colorado and Nebraska and Louisiana and Texas and all over the country, which gives us all great pride and satisfaction about Augustana alums and their faithfulness and fidelity to this place. So since I think I have exhausted the questions, I would like to conclude our live event, but I do want to invite you to reach out to me personally or any member of the advancement staff with any questions that you have or observations, or if you are interested in participating in the letter writing campaign or the Gerber Challenge. So to conclude tonight, on behalf of President Bahls and Provost Hilton-Morrow and myself, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. Please stay safe and be well, and go Augie.